Hello once again. Happy Monday, Cougar Nation. Welcome back inside Studio B at the BYU Broadcasting Building in Provo, Utah for our Week 6 edition of the Coordinator's Corner, our weekly BYU football conversation with the Cougars coordinating coaches. Coming up on today's broadcast, we will look back at a 34-28 win in Waco that improves BYU's record to 5-0, 2-0 in the Big 12. The Cougs win at Baylor is their first away win as a Big 12 member. Today we're visiting with BYU's Offensive Coordinator Aaron Roderick and Special Teams Coordinator Kelly Papinga, looking back on a victory that takes BYU into the first of 2 bye weeks. We start the show by saying hello to BYU OC and QB coach Aaron Roderick. Coach, good to see you once again.
Good to be here.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you. Yes, good to be 5-0.
Yes, and it was a chance at a first Big 12 away win. Was that something that the guys were mindful of?
Yes, we talked about that all week, and we talked about being underdogs again, and about getting our first Big 12 road win. That it was time to get it done, and I thought our players really accepted the challenge in practice. You
were back in Waco for the first time since 2021. From that game to the 2022 game the next year to this game in 2024, do those meetings all kind of show progress that BYU's made in transitioning to a power program?
Well, I think so. I mean, I don't know. I think we're definitely progressing in the right way. And those 2 games helped us sort of know, like the scheme changed since we played them before, but what was clear from playing Baylor those other 2 years is they have great talent, especially on defense. They have length and speed and athleticism. And I think what you're seeing now is in our 3rd year, we match up way better than we did maybe the first year we played them.
It is still a grind, though. Power conference football is a grind.
There are no easy games, none. And every game is winnable, but every game is also, you're gonna have to fight for 4 quarters, and that's just how it's going to be every week.
You dealt with in-game adversity. The personnel situation changes week to week, guys in, guys out. Certainly losing your starting center is going to be adversity for any program, and it was tough to see Connor Pay go down early in that game.
It was. Connor's meant so much to our team, and he's been such a good player for us for the last few years, and he's he's a captain, he's a leader of our offensive line, and to have him go down early is a blow. I thought Sonny Mocassini did a good job stepping in there and played a solid game, but of course, we miss Connor always.
And whether it's Austin Leusa or Bruce Mitchell, the depth has been there where you've been able to use a few guys in a few different spots on that O-line and not lose too much, it would appear.
Yeah, when offensive line play is all about continuity. It's about communication. It's about playing as a unit. Those guys have to make calls every play where they're communicating all across the board so that we're getting targeted right. And anytime you're having moving parts in and out of there, that's a threat to that continuity and that chemistry. And so I thought the guys did a solid job. No sacks was a big deal. We would like to have run the ball a little better in that second half, but to have 0 sacks against a team that had 8 sacks the week before against a very, very good Colorado team, I was really proud of those guys.
Let's examine the game then. BYU has now won 32 consecutive games. Under Kalani, BYU's 34-2 and a perfect 13-0 away record when you just score a touchdown on the opening possession. Let's get into your opening possession. Only 1 third down in that first drive against Baylor on Saturday. 7 plays, 75 yards. You end up 7-0 in the early moments of the game.
Yeah, it was a good opening drive, and the 1 third down was a key play. 3rd and 5, we threw an option route to Darius, and he got open.
This is it right here, right?
Just like we dialed it up. We tried to get him matched up on their Mike linebacker, and he won inside and got open, and it was a really nice play. And then we went right back to him the next play. It was, this drive was just the way you draw it up, and I thought our players did a nice job executing. And nice play here by Miles. This was exactly as we practiced it. That opening drive felt good.
When you saw Miles release, did you see it's going to be open? We got this?
Before the snap, when the defense lined up the way they did, we knew it was going to be there, and that was well executed. You still have to execute it though, and throw and catch and protect and do everything. But the look was what we were hoping for, and it dialed it up.
He'd been in the end zone before for you, but the first career receiving touchdown for Miles Davis.
Yeah, Miles is a very good receiver. He's always, he started out his career as a receiver, actually, his freshman year. And whenever in the Wyoming game, he had a couple of good plays in the passing game. he is a very good threat out of the backfield.
Defense got a takeaway on the first Baylor offensive play. So, again, you're probably into your call sheet for the next sequence that comes up pretty quickly now, but it gives you a short field. Maybe changed your options, I don't know, 4 plays, 20 yards, and Chase takes it in for 6 in your second possession. Yeah,
it was nice to go right to our red zone calls. You know, we got the ball in the red zone, went right to them. And again, the guys did a nice job executing. Started with a solid run play, and then had another good play here to Pokai with a really good lead blocked by Enoch Nawahine, and then one short gain, and then we what I thought should have been a touchdown pass here. They counted this as a rush.
Yeah, they did.
We practice that play often, and we make sure to throw it forward so that if it's incomplete, the other team can't scoop and score. The Baylor statisticians.
Did they keep it that way? Because I had it.
We argued it, but you know, it's okay. It's a touchdown either way, but well executed by everybody.
And the intent again, make sure the ball's going forward.
Because if it's incomplete, it's next play, you know, and that's why we practice it that way.
Okay, so officially they gave Chase a rushing touchdown there. 14-0 BYU lead, followed by a Baylor turnover on downs, and you get a chance to go up 21-0 in the first quarter, and you do that 7-play, 69-yard drive. Jake Retzloff had almost half of the yards on a pair of big runs, the second of which got him into the end zone. The third drive had a lot of Jake on the ground.
Did. One was a scramble. Jake, you know, he's a good runner. He's making plays with his feet. It was a scramble, and then, you know, we had this nice physical run here by Enoch Nawahine, who runs like a guy who's much bigger than he really is. And then this is a little scramble play, getting the ball. Great job by Keelan. And then this was the big gain here, where Jake goes and gets a nice gain, and then we get a 15-yard penalty there as well that helped us out. And unfortunately, Parker's a very good thrower, but he missed that one. We had Keanu wide open in the end zone, and then the guys, we blocked up this QB counter play perfectly here. They did a nice job there executing that.
And no harm done on the miss, because Jake comes in and scores. He's got 150-plus rushing yards for you, which actually leads your team right now. He's kind of, I mean, he doesn't get as much attention as the other quote-unquote dual threats out there, but he is.
Very much so. He's very much a dual threat, and that will always be part of our offense. We didn't have much of a QB run game last year, and that was something we felt like we really missed. And so this year we've been very intentional about getting that going again, and trying to use it at the right times. Understatement to say that's about as good a start as any OC could hope for in a game up 21-0. Yeah, it felt good. That's how I expect us to play more often, and I thought. I was really proud of our team for getting off such a fast start. It's a good Baylor team, though, and they did answer to make it 21-7. The response, though, was outstanding. I thought this was actually a pretty key early point in the game when they do score. You're facing an 85-yard field, too. 10 plays, 5:25 off the clock, 2 third-down conversions on the drive, which is big. Then you end up scoring, I think, on a second down. It was the second down play, was the post shot to Darius for the touchdown. Yeah, and that drive it really exemplified who we want to be on offense. You know, we started out, we didn't have great field position after the kickoff, but we went on a methodical drive, running the ball, mixing run and pass together. We had some quick game, we had some RPO, we had some good run plays. And the key play before this touchdown was Enoch Nawahine. We ran the ball to the left, and he broke a couple of tackles and made about 5 yards after contact, and got us to a second and short. And now a second and short, you can call that play action pass and have the other team respect the run. If he gets tackled at 2nd and 8 or 2nd and 9, that touchdown pass to Darius is impossible. You have to call something else. And so I thought Enoch deserves some credit there for that touchdown to Darius. By being so physical with his run, he got us to a nice 2nd and short where your whole playbook's open. I think he went Pokai on the 2nd and 1, little run to Pokai, and then set you up with a new series of downs, right? Yeah, correct. The third down conversions, nice to have 2 of them on the drive there. It was. I mean, we were 3 for 5 on third down in the first half. Yep. And then I think we were 1 for 8 in the second half. So our third down execution in the second half was poor, and in the first half it was excellent. And that's why you have 31 points at half, because you're playing well on third down. You're getting to more manageable third down distances, and so that was big difference in the 2 halves was how we played on third down. Only 1 punt in the first half for BYU, and yet again. It's happened a lot this year. You get a chance to score in the final minute of a half with some Will Ferrin points, and he sets a career-long 54 yards to give BYU a 31-14 lead at the break, and another little boost. And Will's been performing in these late half scenarios, it seems. Well, yeah, and we've been really good in 2-minute offense this season. pleased. That's one area we're doing a good job with. Jake's really got a knack for it, and we're managing that clock well. Would have liked to have gotten him a little closer, or maybe even gotten ourselves a touchdown. But Will's such a good kicker, man. If you just give him a chance, you got a great opportunity to get points, and credit to him for knocking that thing through.
And again, that's his second 50-yarder of the year, and a good kicker influences an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and the wind was pretty wild in that stadium too. There was you don't see that on TV, but that was a pretty strong wind.
It was pretty swirly and really picked up later in the afternoon as the game got into the second half. All right, Jake Retzloff had an outstanding first half. 13 of 17 for a $180, 2 touchdowns, and then he ran it 4 times for 47 yards and a score. I say it was as good a start as you could hope for. That's about as good a half as Jake has played for you.
Very solid. Yeah, he played a really good first half. That's as well as he's played since he's been here. And that's about as well as we've had any quarterback play in a half, for a while. That was good football.
And again, it shouldn't be understated, just scoring 31 on a team that I think their season high against was maybe 31 from Colorado the week before. Does that sound right?
Yeah, and that was an overtime game.
Yeah.
They got 31 in overtime. So yeah, that's the most points anyone scored on them this year. And I don't know how many teams have scored that many points against Dave Aranda ever. He is an outstanding defensive coach, as good as they get.
Yeah, when you heard he'd be calling plays this year, actually an active play caller, what did that say to you initially?
Well, I just have tons of respect for him. First of all, Baylor has very good players, and then Coach Aranda, he's a legend. I mean, he's been doing it for a long time at a very high level at several different schools. He's got a national championship at LSU, a Big 12 championship at Baylor. He had an awesome defense at Wisconsin. He's a very good coach.
Okay, coming up, we'll see how BYU hung on for its first ever Big 12 away win when the Coordinator's Corner rolls on. As we head to break, a reminder to join Dave McCann and former Cougars Blaine Fowler and David Nixon tomorrow night for a brand new episode of After Further Review. They'll break down the film of BYU's win at Baylor and look ahead to Arizona coming up in 12 days. That's tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern on the BYUtv app or ESPN+. When we return, more with BYU OC and QB coach Aaron Roderick. As the Coordinator's Corner continues, we are brought to you by JCW's The Burger Boys.
Coordinator's Corner is presented by JCW's The Burger Boys and Intermountain Health, official medical provider for BYU Athletics.
Back on the Coordinator's Corner, chatting with BYU Offensive Coordinator and QB coach Aaron Roderick after BYU's 34-28 win at Baylor on Saturday. For BYU, now ranked 17th. It's the first daytime win in almost 3 calendar years. Good to get one of those. And Baylor's 10th consecutive loss to a ranked team. Cougars now enter their first bye week of the season at 5-0, 2-0 in league play. BYU home to Arizona coming up on October 12th. They set that game time today, by the way. It'll be an afternoon kick, 2 o'clock Mountain on the 12th. All right, Saturday in Waco, BYU played a very balanced offensive game. 151 rushing yards, 216 passing yards. I know you don't care about the yards. It's about the points and the wins. But under Kalani, BYU's got a 30-5 record and 13 consecutive wins. When you just go 150-200, it seems like a pretty fair balance on both sides.
Yeah, we want to be a balanced team, and I think we've done that the last couple of games. And you're right. It's not about the total number of stats, because total yards isn't always a great indicator of winning and losing.
K-State an example.
Correct. It's more about points per possession, what you're doing with your possessions, and we're doing a very good job with getting points on our total number of possessions this year.
To the BYU run game, it was once again a group effort. 6 players had carries. Leading rusher was your quarterback, Jake Retzloff. Can you give us maybe a status of the running back room heading into the bye week right now?
Yeah, they're getting healthy. I expect to have everybody available in the next game. I can't guarantee that, but I think we'll have everybody back by the next game, and that'll be nice. And it's been great. The reason why Jake's our leading rusher is because we have had so much turnover there, right?
Rotation.
If it had been 1 or 2 guys all season long, then the backs would be leading the team. But I'm proud of those guys, though, for just stepping up. I'm calling the game. I'm not thinking about the fact that Enoch's in there or Pokai or Sione Moa or whoever. I just call the game, and every one of those guys has stepped up and been able to play and run our offense.
The only guys who were truly unavailable at Baylor were L.J. Martin and Sione Moa, because Hinckley made the trip and could have played if you needed him, but you didn't, because you had Enoch going, you had Pokai going, you had Miles going.
Correct. We had Hinckley was there. He was ready to play if needed. But we thought Enoch and Pokai were doing a really nice job. And, of course, Miles scored a touchdown. So we were able to rest Hinckley for another game. And now he's got a bye week. So hopefully by the next game we're full speed or full go there at that position.
Right, back into the game Saturday. At halftime, you had gone through 6 possessions, 4 touchdowns, punt, and a field goal. What different looks were you getting maybe in the second half that maybe you weren't in the first 30 minutes?
Second half, they turned up the pressure a lot. They were blitzing almost every play that half, which is something they had not done this season. They're a very low pressure team, and we actually were pretty aggressive in especially trying to throw the ball down the field, and we had a couple chances. We just did not execute well enough in the second half. We had a very uncharacteristic drop ball. Darius is a great player. He almost never drops the ball. We had a drop that would have been a huge play. Mm-hmm. We went right back to him on the same play a couple plays later with just a different formation, and then Jake was a little off with the throw. Both of those would have been huge gains. We had a double move to Darius later in the half. We tried to go down, or in the fourth quarter, tried to go down the field to Darius on that. Didn't connect. We had a double pass in the red zone where I thought should have been a pass interference.
Absolutely
call,
should have been
a touchdown. Anyway, so we were trying to be aggressive against their pressure, and we just did not execute to make them pay. If you make them pay on one of those, 1 or 2 of those completions, they're going to stop blitzing. And so when we didn't connect, it was almost like that encouraged them to just keep it coming, and then it started to kind of snowball on us a little bit. But so that was disappointing. But I'm glad that the players know that we're not going to, we're going to keep the pedal down. We're going to keep trying to be aggressive, and we need to learn to execute better in that situation.
BYU was up 31-14 going into the second half, though. Baylor opened the second half with the ball, did its job, touchdown, made it a 10-point game. On the ensuing BYU drive, I think your first one, you're on the verge of a 3-and-out. That's when Coach Papinga dials up the fake on 4th and 10. Yeah,
that was we talked about that before the game, that look was there. We're a team that likes to go for it on 4th down, and that felt like a great time to go for the fake because there's enough field behind them that they're probably not expecting it, and it's a long 4th and 10 is not a great play for the offense to try to go for it either.
Yeah.
So well executed by the special team. Hats off to them. That was awesome. That was really fun to watch.
After the fake, you grinded a bit, 13 plays, 46 yards. You had to come out of it with points, and you did. As it turns out, 3 pretty big points from Will Farron to make it 34-21.
Yeah, I would have liked to have gotten a touchdown there, but the points, just getting points there is huge.
So next 4 possessions were a pick, a missed field goal, a huge 70-yard punt, another interception. So you had some adversity to overcome down the stretch because Baylor was starting to get some things going.
They were, and again, the interception was unfortunate because we were trying to go to Chase, and the referees were definitely letting them play. We had a bear hug around Chase out of bounds or near the sideline, and that's one where Jake maybe should just run it or throw it away, but he tried to fit it in there to the inside receiver, and ball got away from him a little bit. But I thought that should have been 1st and 10. Our for us on defensive holding, but we didn't get the call, and so that's a tough one.
It's part of the adversity. In a 6-point game now, BYU's defense kept turning Baylor back, and you got the ball back with under 2 minutes to play. You're maybe 2 first downs away from sealing a win, and you're a 2nd and 5, and then comes a flag that makes it 2nd and 20. It cracked open the door just a bit for Baylor when you thought you make 5 yards, maybe it's ball game.
Yeah, no. Again, I didn't think Caleb did anything Caleb didn't deserve that, but it set us back for sure. Now, when you're 2nd and 20 something, that deep in your own territory, you have to be smart and just run the football. And unfortunately, that was a tough way to finish it because we were at 2nd and 5.
Yep.
We've got 2 downs to make 5 yards. We moved the chains. It's game over.
Right.
We're in victory again for the 3rd game in a row. And but we got a tough call there against Caleb, who is just an absolute awesome human being. Like, he's not a guy who's out there getting personal fouls at the end of a game. That's just not who he is. And
that's one of the main reasons Kalani was so incensed.
It was, it was a flop, and their player flopped and tried to sell it, and unfortunately that one went against us. But it's okay. It's good to win a game like that where we didn't do everything right in that second half, but we still had to battle through the adversity, and you can learn a lot of good lessons in a win.
Their last gasp, Baylor that is, came with just under 90 seconds to play. Crew Wakely seals the deal, and you had your first Big 12 away win.
Yeah, that was great. That was fun to watch. That was one of the only defensive plays of the game.
That's right. You're not watching that a lot, are you?
I'm actually watching the game. Most of the time I'm looking down, planning the next series, and got to watch the bracket coverage unfold and see Crew go get it. That was a great play.
All right. The phrase is complementary football, and we saw a lot of that on Saturday, right? The offense gets off to the spectacular start, scores 31 in the first half. Defense forces 2 takeaways, those lockdown plays late, including Crew. Special teams, fake punts, 70-yard punts, 54-yard field goal. That's the way to do it.
It is, and that's how our program is built. We win as a team, and complementary football is a real thing. It's not something that just happens by happenstance. It is a planned out, methodical thing that we work on a regular basis. Jay Hill, Kalani, and I have a lot of history together, and we win games as a team in a way that is meant to, we play a certain style of offense that allows the defense to play great defense. We play a defense of mentality that gets a lot of takeaways and sets us up with good fields, and we play great special teams, and those things all fit together. In
this team game, we like to shine the light on outstanding individuals, and we take a look at this week's Offensive Player of the Week, and you've chosen an offensive lineman to receive those kudos this week.
Yeah, Braden Kime played an outstanding game. Baylor has a phenomenal pass rush. They had 8 sacks the week before at Colorado, who we're finding out now that Colorado is a really good team.
Yes.
Right? They showed that this week at UCF. 0 sacks, was a big deal, and thought Braden played the best of those 5 guys Saturday. And just super proud of him, his development over the years in our program. He's a great example of what we're about.
Awesome. Congrats to Braden. Coming up, we'll have our last segment with Coach A-Rod. Next Saturday, we want you to tune in to Cougar Pregame Live on BYU Radio starting at 2 p.m. Eastern, 12 Mountain, as the Cougs host the Arizona Wildcats. As we go to break, reminder that dinner after the game at JCW's includes something for everybody, from burgers to wings, shakes to salads. JCW's, quality and a lot of it in Lehigh, American Fork, Provo, South Jordan, and Harriman. Coming up next, quick look ahead to BYU's next game post-bye week. We're in the Coordinator's Corner, brought to you by JCW's, the Burger Boys. Welcome back inside the Coordinator's Corner. BYU entering its first of 2 bye weeks at 5-0, ranked 17th in the AP poll after Saturday's 34-28 win at Baylor, BYU's first ever win in Waco. And the victory improves the Cougars to 2-0 in conference play. Visiting with BYU OC and QB coach Aaron Roderick. And even though the game is still an extra weekend away, quick look ahead now to the next opponent for BYU, the Arizona Wildcats. U of A 23-10 winner at Utah on Saturday night. This preview of Arizona brought to you by Intermountain Health, official medical provider for BYU athletics. And that's an impressive win going into Salt Lake and doing what they did Saturday night.
No question. That's a tough place to play in Salt Lake City, and they came in there and played a very good game. I was impressed.
Arizona now 3-1 overall, as you see, 1-0 in the Big 12. One of the top DBs in the country, in Takario Davis, who was named the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week today.
Yeah, he's a projected first-round pick. He's 6'4". He's long and fast. Very impressive on film. We've already been watching him all morning, and he's a really good football player.
Held Utah to 2.9 yards per carry, 3 sacks, 7 TFLs. Was a good defensive game for them.
It was. They present a lot of problems. They're very athletic and tough, and they bring a lot of pressure, and they can play man coverage. And they also have some really unique zone coverage principles as well that we're going to have to be prepared for.
And a potentially explosive offense they have that needs you kind of keeping pace with them, maybe.
Yeah, that's one thing. And again, talking about winning and losing as a team, or it's a team game, and you're not. Our job is to prepare for Arizona's defense, but knowing that they have an offense that can score points, that's part of it. We have to work together as a football team to win that game. 5
games in now at 5-0. What do you like most about this BYU offense through 5 games?
Well, I think we're being efficient with our possessions, and I think what I also like is just we're a team that we can run it or throw it when we need to. We had some breakdowns in in the second half the other day, but most of those were due to individual errors that we need to correct. I think we have solid depth at all position groups. We've had guys step up at every position group, and And I think that's going to carry us through down the stretch, is knowing that we can go to our receivers, we can go to our tight ends, we can get the ball to our backs. We've had depth at O-line, and Jake's playing really well, and we have a really good quarterback behind him as well. So I think this bye week comes at a good time for us to get healthy, and I think we have enough depth to make a good run down the stretch here.
Okay, as the QB coach, Jake Retzloff now has a winning team record as the starting quarterback. Where has he made the most strides from 2023 to 2024, do you think?
Just his decision making. There was a couple of plays Saturday where he threw the ball away, and in the past he might have tried to make a play, and no one's going to notice it, but he literally threw the ball out of bounds twice Saturday, where would have been tempted in the past to maybe try to make something happen. He had a great check down to Pokai in the first half where they grabbed him. Defense got a hold of him. He dumped it
wide
to
open.
Pokai.
Yep.
Pokai made a nice gain. That was an outstanding play. And just little things like that are where I see him improving. The 2 interceptions were really unfortunate. One's a tipped ball. We have an open receiver. He's throwing the ball on time to the right guy. Their guy makes a great play. The ball gets tipped. And the other one, I thought we should have had a defensive holding penalty against Baylor, and we didn't get the call. The ball was a little off, but he is making good decisions for our team right now, and doing a nice job. I think obviously he can keep improving, but I like the progress he's making. I
want to throw a few stats on the screen for you right now. Maybe tell me what jumps out to you or what you think maybe has the most validity. These are top 25 stats that reflect on the BYU offense in one way or another right now. The fourth down number is very high. The care of the ball is part of the turnover margin. What do you like out of this?
Well, yeah, we want to, first of all, when we get in the red zone, we want to score touchdowns, and I think we've done a good job of that this year. And we're taking good care of the football for the most part, and I think we're protecting our quarterback. And turnover margin is the number one. That is the number one stat in football. If you win the turnover battle, your chances of winning go way up. And our defense is getting takeaways, and we're doing a good job of taking care of it for the most part this year. We had one really unfortunate game at SMU, but we found a way to win. Other than that, we've been, on the winning end of the turnover battle, and I think that's a huge reason why we're where we're at. And finally, Coach Roderick, for you, Kalani says we want to prove people wrong, but also prove ourselves right. Fact is, BYU's 5-0 against the spread so far this season, and that has been something that the guys like to kind of lean into. Is we're going to go prove some things this year, and so far so good that way. Yeah, well, it was a long off season. I think our players had a lot of time to reflect on. We didn't play as well as we wanted to last year, and I think I don't think. Necessarily they're always thinking about what other people think. I do think that most of our players are focused on the belief in themselves that they have that we can win the next game. And as long as they just keep believing in themselves that they can win the next game, and you focus one game at a time, I think we'll all be happy with the results at the end. All right, Coach, have a great bye week, and good luck against Arizona here in a week and a half. Thanks. All right, that's Coach Aaron Roderick. 1 week from tomorrow night, join us for BYU football. Yeah, 1 week from tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but a week away. BYU football with Kalani Sitake. The coach and a special guest will help us preview the Arizona game out of the bye week. That's next Tuesday, not tomorrow. Next Tuesday at 8:30 Eastern on the BYUtv app or ESPN+. Coming up next, Special Teams Coordinator Kelly Papinga. As the Coordinator's Corner continues, we're brought to you by JCW's The Burger Boys.